The Sussex dialect is a dialect that was once widely spoken by those living in the historic county of Sussex in southern England. Much of the distinctive vocabulary of the Sussex dialect has now died out, although a few words remain in common usage and some individuals still speak with the traditional Sussex accent. The Sussex dialect is a subset of the Southern English dialect group. Historically, there were three main variants to the dialect: West Sussex, Mid Sussex and East Sussex. There were also differences between Downland and Wealden communities. In particular, the people of the Weald were thought to have the most impenetrable accents. The Sussex dialect shows remarkable continuity. The three main dialect areas reflect the historic county's history. The West and Mid dialect areas reflect the ancient division of Sussex between East and West, which until the creation of the Rape of Bramber in the 11th century lay along the River Arder. The Eastern dialect area reflects the unique history of the Hastings area, which was home to the Kingdom of the Hastingers until the 8th century. Sussex dialect words have their sources in many historic languages including Anglo-Saxon, Old Dutch, Old Welsh, with a dash of 14th century French, and a little Scandinavian. Many words are thought to have derived from Sussex's fishermen and the links with fishermen from the coasts of France and the Netherlands. Features. Accent below is a set of features of pronunciation in the dialect used across Sussex. A before double D becomes R in such words as ladder and adder. A before double L is pronounced in words as fallow and tallow. E before T is expanded into each made plate gate. A before chord becomes as in satisfaction. Before chord becomes a as in affection, affect and neglect. I is pronounced as in such words as sheep, weak, or feel. A is pronounced as, and thus mice, hive, dive are pronounced. Sometimes becomes, as in pet for pitters, pet for spit. I-O and Oi change places respectively, so violet and violent become voilet and violent, while boiled and spoiled are bioled and spiled. O before N is expanded into O in such words as pony, don't, and bone to be pronounced po-any, don't, and bone. R is pronounced as R, so that cord and morning become carn and morning, perhaps in a card-chord merger. Father bother merger becomes, in such words as rod and cross, which sound like rad and crass. A is elongated into AOU in words like hand, pound and man, so they are pronounced hand, parand and mound. The final OU is pronounced as faller for fallow. Double T is traditionally pronounced as R or D, so that little and butter sound like little and butter. See intervocalic alveolar flapping. TH stopping. TH is invariably, these and them become des and dem. D in its turn is occasionally changed into th, turning fodder into fodder. Metathesis of final sp in such words as wasp, clasp, and hasp, pronounced as waps, claps, and haps. Words ending in saint have an additional syllable in the possessive case and the plural. Therefore, instead of saying, the birds had built the nests near the posts of Mr. Westgate, a Sussex boy would traditionally say, the birds had built the nesties near the posts of Mr. Westergate. See reduplicated plural. In the 19th century, William Derrant Cooper found that the people in eastern parts of Sussex spoke many words with a French accent. For instance, the word day was pronounced D, and mercy as in the French merci. In Rye, the word bonnet was pronounced bonnet and Mermaid Street was pronounced Marmaid Street. Gender is almost always feminine. There is a saying in Sussex dialect that everything in Sussex is a she except a tomcat and she's a he. Pronouns in the western variant of the Sussex dialect, n and un, were used for he and it, and was used for them. Places: Arson, Alceston, Arndell, Arundel, Chanclebury, Chanctonbury, Charnton, Chalvington, Chichester, Chichester, Enville, Henfield, Firle, Firle, Goran, Goring. Heffel, Heathfield, Helsam, Hailsham, Horham, Horsham, London, London, Meadows, Midhurst, America, America, Pemsey, Pevensey, Petworth, Petworth, Stammer, Standmer, Taryn, Tiring, the Shears, England outside of Sussex, Kent and Surrey, Simpson, Selmerston, Storenorn, Storrington. Fishermen's names. In a seafaring county such as Sussex, fishermen were given nicknames, which by extension also sometimes applied to all residents of a town. These names include Chopbacks, Hastings, Jugs, Brighton, Mudlarks, Rye, Pork Bolters, Worthing, Winnoxer, Willix, Eastbourne. Landscape words. Bostel, a steep path, particularly over the downs. Knap, Knep, a small hill. Hill, the Sussex Downs. Lanes, open tracts of land at the base of the downs. Rife, a small river, especially across the West Sussex coastal plain. Toddy land, highland. Fret, a sea fog. Went, crossroads. Flora and fauna. Amit, ant. Brown bird, thrush. Culver, a pigeon or a dove. Cutty, wren. Dumbledore, bumblebee. Flittermouse, bat. Humbledore, hornet. God Almighty's cow, ladybird. Chimakine, weasel. Kiss me, wild heartsease. Mousernicle, dragonfly. Neddy, warblefly. Old man's beard, wild clematis. Old man's nightcap, hooded bindweed. Poop flies, fairy flies. Prickleback urchin, hedgehog. Puck, nightjar. Puck's tool, toad's tool. Reynold, a reynard, fox. Ship, sheep. Snag, a snag, snail. Snodgogs, ewberries. Sprod, junction of branch with trunk of a tree. Tottlegrass, high grass. Varm, bracken. Winnocker, willock, a guillemot. Yaffle, green woodpecker. Words for mud. While there is a popular belief that the Inuit have an unusually large number of words for snow, the Sussex dialect is notable in having an unusually large number of words for mud, thought to be over 30 different terms. Some of the words are clodgy, muddy and wet, like a field path after heavy rain. GAWM, especially sticky, foul-smelling mud. Gubber, black mud of rotting organic matter. Ike, a mess or area of mud. Pug, a kind of loam, particularly the sticky yellow Wealden clay. Slab, the thickest mud. Sleech mud, a river sediment used for manure. Slob, thick mud. Slough, a muddy hole. Slub, thick mud. Slurry, diluted mud, saturated with so much water that it cannot drain. Smeary, wet and sticky surface mud. Stoge, to trample ground, like cattle, also the silty mud at Rye Harbour. Stodge, thick puddingy mud. Stug, watery mud. Swank, a bog. Other dialect words. Boko, much. Beasted, tired out. Bread and cheese friend, a true friend. Catawise, diagonally. Chipper, happy. Chog, apple core. Dosset, small portion. Druv, driven. Does and must not. Pharisees, fairies. Boistering, loud feminine laughter. Girt, big. Jiggered, surprised. Kiddie, friend or workmate. Somewhen, sometime. Strombolo, a type of lignite found on local beaches, sometimes used as fuel in the 18th and 19th centuries, but it emitted a strong sulphurous smell when burned. Surely, this word is often added to the end of a sentence to round it off or add emphasis. Twitten, a path or alleyway. Whippleway, bridle path. Waddle, the game of bat and trap. Links to American English. Phoebe Earle Griffiths, an American writer in the 19th century, commented that Sussex dialect had considerable similarities with the dialect of New England at the time. Some phrases common to Sussex were common in New England as well, such as "you hadn't ought to" or "you shouldn't ought," the use of "you" for "are you," and "I see him" for "I saw him." There are also significant links with the dialect of East Sussex and the dialect of African Americans in the southern United States. In particular, the use of dem, dat and deze for them, that, and these was common in the 19th century both in Sussex and in the southern United States. Other phrases that may appear to be Americanisms were widely used in Sussex dialect. Examples include the use of the fall for autumn, mad for angry, I guess, and I reckon. Significant numbers of Sussex people moved to the United States in the 18th and 19th centuries. Even earlier than that, founder of the province of Pennsylvania, Quaker William Penn, left Sussex for New England with around 200 Sussex Quakers. For several years before the voyage in 1681, Penn lived at Warminghurst Place in Sussex, worshipping near Thacum. Later, there was also a major migration from Sussex to Ohio in 1822. Future prospects. The Sussex dialect and accent are facing extinction. Commuting is on the increase in Sussex, caused by the lack of local employment opportunities coupled with high housing expenses and proximity to London. This has caused people with other accents to move to Sussex and the corresponding loss of the southern dialect. Works in dialect. Tom Cladpole's Journey to London, told by himself, and written in pure Sussex doggerel by his uncle Tim, Richard Lowe at 1830. A glossary of the provincialisms in use in the county of Sussex, William Durr and Cooper, 1834-1853. Jan Cladpole's Trip to America, written all in rhyme by his father, Tim Cladpole, Richard Lowe at 1844. Sussex dialect, from the Authorized English version by T. Spencer Baines, in the Song of Solomon in 24 dialects, Mark Anthony Lowe at 1860. Puck of Pook's Hill, Rudyard Kipling, 1906. Rewards and Fairies, Rudyard Kipling, 1910. Sussex Ghost, The Story of a Fight, Sheila K. Smith, 1916. Joanna Garden, Sheila K. Smith, 1921. Some About Sussex and Some Sussexes by Jim Cladpole, James Richards, 1930.